Curious how good the grenade launcher is when playing solo on difficulty 10? Then stick around for this viewer requested build. It also rocks a supply pack, which you can never go wrong with. I had a lot of fun. My name is Faisal. Let's say AoE time. Thank you BlueTadlerX for this build. I couldn't find your comment to screenshot it here, for which I apologize. I hope you enjoy how I ran your build. The build revolves around the grenade launcher and comes with a supply pack. This is already a great idea, since the grenade launcher's biggest problem is how ammo intensive it is. The 500 is the answer to big boys, and Eagle Napalms help you out here and there. I'm running the same game plan as usual. I clear out nests as fast as I can, so I have to deal with patrols less. Then I sweep the rest of the map. Tip number 1. Once you have the level 5 ship module called Streamlined Launch Process, your support weapons get called in much faster. In that case, you should always call in your backpack first. That way, they both land nearly at the same time. A min-maxy tip to start off with for a change. Shriekers are a bit of a problem for this build. The Blitzer requires them to be close. The grenade launcher could work, but I just don't have enough feeling for the trajectory yet, in order to land those shots consistently. Same goes for the grenade pistol, so I basically have to wait for them to get to me before I can take them down. A breaker incendiary would solve this problem, especially since the supply pack covers its ammo problem. Tip number 2. The supply pack allows ammo-hungry guns. The supply pack in this build supports the ammo-hungry grenade launcher, but also the ammo-hungry grenade pistol. Topping it off with an ammo-hungry primary would be the trifecta. This is important intel, because oftentimes, ammo-hungry guns are extremely powerful, which is why they are ammo-hungry. The supply pack indirectly buffs these guns for that reason. Be sure to synergize your build as much as possible. I tried to repeat tips from previous videos, with small tweaks in how I deliver them to you, to hammer home the information, since we struggle to remember things by just hearing it once. Which leads me to this video's fun fact theme. Memory. Fun fact number 1. The Google effect. Being able to look up just about any piece of information nowadays is a wonderful perk. Studies seem to be implying, though, that it comes with a bit of a flip side. Namely, if your brain knows it can just look it up, it probably won't try as hard to remember it. As you can imagine, this is one of the arguments being used for the internet is making us stupid debate. Time will tell whether this is true or not. Definitely interesting to contemplate, though. What do you think? Is the internet making us stupid? Tip number 3. Aim low with the grenade launcher. If you aim for their face, or even body, I feel oftentimes the grenades will randomly bounce off them, sometimes even back into your face. By bouncing the shots off the ground, however, it's much more consistent. On top of that, it lets you consistently hit their bodies. I'm definitely no grenade launcher expert, but this small tweak worked wonders for me. Let me know if you happen to be a grenade launcher expert and disagree with me, of course. Tip number 4. The supply pack and the medkit armor are insane together. It's not just infinite ammo you get. You also get a total of 12 stims whenever you run a supply pack, which, in my opinion, makes the medkit armor passive the very best synergy for a supply pack. Having extra seconds of God mode and extra stamina whenever you need it is ridiculously potent. I even added the experimental infusion booster for that reason, to add extra run speed as well. Synergy will always be king. Remember that. Tip number 5. Reload with 1 bullet left. By reloading your gun with a bullet left in a magazine, it increases your reload speed drastically. If you get good at this, it can save you minutes in reload speed per mission. Does it come at the expense of ammo? Yes. Is it worth it? Abso-hell-diving-lutely. Feels good. I think the supply pack is meta. I also use it whenever I run a railgun against automatons, just so I can miss shots and not care. It also lets me stun grenade and not care. And I guess it lets me get shot and not care? I don't know, it's a thing. Admittedly, I love how satisfying the railgun is, so solid combo if you haven't tried it. Against automatons, mostly to be fair. Fun fact number 2. The recency bias. When forming an opinion, our brain likes to believe that the things we heard more recently are more important than past knowledge, which of course is nonsense, since the time frame in which you heard information should never be as relevant as the value of the information. Unfortunately though, you're more likely to believe things you heard yesterday than things you heard a month ago. Which is also why topics like who the greatest of all time is in any field will never come to an end. If you're enjoying this mix of in and out of game tips and fun facts, a like and a sub would be amazing. Thank you for the support. Tip number 6. Focus on objectives. It's very easy to get distracted or just overwhelmed by the sheer amount of enemies coming your way. Be sure to focus on what needs to be done, which in this case is the destruction of the Shrieker nests. So although there's a lot of distraction, that Hellbomb needs to come down quick. If I delay just a little bit, I probably get breached again, and then I'll lose a couple minutes fighting that breach. Or worse, I'll have to retreat. So make sure you seize your windows of opportunity.
Hellbomb arm! Clear the area!
Unleashing democracy.
Tip number 7. Crouch slide for efficiency. While sprinting, press the crouch button to do a crouch slide. While sliding, your aim down sight is actually very stable. The reason why crouch sliding is so good though, is because you normally move very slowly while aiming down sight. Whereas, the crouch slide gives you the best of both worlds. High movement speed, although for only a second, but also high aim stability. Add to that, you look like a total badass, and there's not really a reason to not crouch slide. Am I right? I'll add tip number 8 here as well. Dive after crouch sliding. If you're in heavy combat, crouch sliding helps you create distance between you and the enemies, but only for a second. If you feel you need to keep shooting after crouch sliding, be sure to dive right after the slide. This gives you about 2 to 3 seconds of high aim stability, while simultaneously covering as much distance as possible. Make sure you're careful where you dive to though, as this is the most likely dive scenario where you stumble on a pebble and die. As with all things, practice will make perfect here.
Point me to the enemy.
This next scene really shows the power of extra stim duration. God mode for the win.
Injury? What?
I thought I angled this napalm right. I needed to rotate my camera a bit further right though. Lesson learned. If I rotated my camera a bit further, I would have been safe here, since the perpendicular call-in angle would have missed me. Be sure to learn from your mistakes, no matter how big or small. Which leads me to fun fact number 3. Emotional intensity matters. Our brain has to plow through a ridiculous amount of data every single day. Heck, every single minute even. Which is why it makes perfect sense that remembering things can be difficult. When things are emotionally intense, however, our brain gets poked with a "remember this" order. So the next time you're gonna do something exciting, like, I don't know, skydiving, remember to pick up that book or article on that topic you really wanted to learn. Since odds are, your brain is going to specifically solidify the data of that day, due to the excitement you felt from skydiving. If you hadn't noticed, the grenade launcher is probably the very best gun against Bile Spears, by the way. Watch me use stun grenades to buy time for this objective.
Sending down equipment package.
Easy peasy, team.
Making progress.
Skipping a lot of footage. I ran all the way west here to the Siege Artillery. It was quite peaceful, since many nests are down already.
Tactical asset.
Since I'm just filling up the Siege, tip number 9. Bring Eagles and Orbitals. By bringing both, you make it so rearming your Eagles doesn't leave you nukeless. In this scenario, I would swap my 500 kg with the Orbital Precision Strike. Alternatively, I could swap my Napalm Airstrike with an Orbital Gas. These stratagems provide roughly the same utility. Probably the best way to handle this choice is by reflecting on how accurate you are with your stratagems. If you rarely miss, Orbitals are just better, since you very rarely will need more than one per fight in order to clear whatever you're fighting, and they'll be back for your next fight. If you're still practicing, however, probably bring more Eagles, since you get multiple charges and therefore missing is more forgiving. The downside to Eagles, of course, is that you will need to play more safely between fights for a longer time frame, since you have to wait a bit longer for them to come back. There's one scenario where Eagles will always win though. That is, can you predict mission downtime? So a window where you're not fighting. If you can, you manually rearm the Eagles the very second the downtime starts. In that scenario, I would argue Eagles will always outpace Orbitals. That requires very, very high game awareness though. So consider that a challenge, I'd say.
Last reload. For prosperity.
Tip number 10. Climb walls to confuse bugs. By climbing walls, oftentimes enemies can't reach you. Automatons don't care, for the record. But Terminids will hate you for it. So be sure to skim the area for possible high ground. The more you do this, the better you'll get at identifying climbable terrain. I finished the sieve here, then ran to the next nest. Tip number 11. Run circles around napalm or gas. By doing so, you maximize the damage potential of your stratagems. It also guarantees that you never get attacked by tiny enemies, while your napalm or gas are present, since they will almost instantly die to fire or gas damage, leaving you to fight only the heavier units, whom also will be more weakened due to the damage over time. Tip number 12. Bounce grenades under chargers. By bouncing your grenade launcher shots under the belly of a charger, they'll explode on the butt. It takes about 4 to 5 grenades to make the butt explode, after which the charger will rapidly die to bleeding out. I don't quite nail this one, since I need more practice with it, but definitely a fun technique to try.
Here comes the cavalry.
Get some! Get some!
Bug outpost destroyed.
I want the charger and the Titan to die to one 500 kg bomb here. So I spam stun grenades on the charger, then wait for the Titan to be in position before I bait the spit out by moving into range.
Have a taste of democracy! Found something!
Tip number 13. Spam stun grenades on stray Hellbombs. When I throw a stun grenade on enemies near a Hellbomb, the second wave of units in the back start inching closer. Throwing another one now stuns waves 1 and 2, letting wave number 3 move closer. You can do this as long as you have stun grenades, which in turn will make the Hellbomb extremely fruitful. Watch.
Tech pack's empty.
Sending down equipment package.
I stun grenaded twice, so that blast took out 3 waves, which seems to have been most of them. Ran towards the generator here. When playing solo, you have to keep the pace high and not waste too much time fighting, since you have to cover the entire map alone.
Feels good. Not today. Say hello to democracy.
I feel like dragging them all off the objective is better time management than it is to try and fight them all. So I run north to the next objective, which happens to be a radar. I drag everything from the generator objective with me. This in turn gives my stratagems a lot more bang for their buck.
Tactical asset near your position.
If you're curious why I'm running for the nest while the radar is unfinished, here's a repeat tip for you. Number 14. Memorize objective consoles. After I toggled the radar console, it takes about a minute before it lets me align the satellite. So as long as I can run to another objective in less than 30 seconds, it's worth doing so, since running back and forth will be less than a minute, in turn making it almost as if I cleared a nest while sitting and waiting on the objective. Learning what objectives have long loading times will optimize your time management. You can get really mathematical about it and calculate how far it would be to the next objective, then sometimes it's better to just wait on the console. On average though, this is a solid approach. I would have failed this mission without it. You'll see once I get to the ICBM itself. I will admit, these time management tips are much less necessary if you're someone who prefers playing stealthily, since you'll simply be avoiding a lot more combat. If you're a fool like me though, and you enjoy just blasting everything, then you should definitely apply these time management tips. The medkit armor combined with a supply pack is a match made in heaven, since it basically means you have infinite stims. Add the experimental infusion booster, and you don't just have infinite stims, you also have increased run speed the whole time. I abused this gimmick in my mines only/no guns video. 600 kills and 0 bullets fired. That was a fun run. Thank you, Mortars. I ignored the leftover bugs here, and simply ran back to the radar. I let my Eagle Napalms clear the chaff. Fun fact number 4. The nostalgia effect. Oftentimes, older people will remind you that things used to be better quality. That's not as often true as they'd like to believe. We tend to recall the past a lot more fondly though, than it actually was. This psychological phenomenon is called the nostalgia effect. You can witness this effect happening when someone, for example, says, "They don't make wholesome TV shows like they used to." When you think about that rationally, it leads to obvious conclusions. For example, How would you separate the wholesome quality from a TV show? And how would you measure this anyway? You'd probably have to deviate to indirectly measuring it by saying things like, well, they used to be more family oriented. Plenty of TV shows nowadays do that too. Well, there was more heartfelt scenes. Also plenty that cover that. Well, they were less offensive. Definitely false. Plenty that were very offensive.
Attack underway.
Well, the actors were better. Also very debatable, since that's an opinion. All in all, remember your mind likes to play you. So maybe, just maybe, things are not so bad in this day and age.
Have a taste of democracy! Last reload! Ah! Get some!
Administering freedom.
I hate that I got forced off this objective. I tried really hard to clear the breaches, but I got forced into a gamble. So I ran for the rogue station and simply had to hope that I had enough time to come back.
Equipment package. Objective critical stratagem available. Objective critical stratagem no longer available. Hellbomb request approved. Deploying now.
Say hello to democracy!
I am in a very heavy rush now. I have 11 minutes for a sub-objective, the main objective, and a mega nest. Pedal to the metal, team. I ran straight for the objective here. Eagle napalms covered my 6, and I spammed stims for stamina and run speed. Luckily, there were no enemies here. Unluckily, I had nothing I could do for the 30-second wait time, so I simply had to sit here to wait and pull the lever. Those 30 seconds were very costly, but it is what it is. Bulking it straight for the ICBM. Here we go.
Main objective near your position.
I really need this console to start loading. That way, I can move to the Mega Nest. If I try to finish the ICBM first, I'll probably have no stratagems and no reinforcers for the Mega Nest. So the plan is, get the ICBM console to start a long load time, do the Mega Nest, and then come back and finish the ICBM console. A fine and dandy plan in theory. But man, do I hate how practice rarely lines up with theory. In hindsight, I actually made a big mistake here. So tip number 15. Drop samples in secure locations.
Here comes the cavalry.
Most people know about dropping samples on extraction. That way, if just one of your teammates can get out, they can grab the samples and everyone gets them. The logic being, you're not sure whether you'll die in an awkward position, in turn making it hard to get the samples back. You can apply that same logic in multiple scenarios. For example, I knew I was going to be coming back to the ICBM here, so I should have dropped my samples on the console. The reason why that would have been smart is that there's a high chance that the Mega Nest is going to decimate me. So not having to look for my samples when it does makes a huge difference. Perhaps a min-maxy tip, but definitely a good one to contemplate. So consider dropping your samples on locations where you know for a fact you'll be returning. or a teammate will be returning even. I really need to get to the console here. It's at this point I've decided I'm gonna do the extraction the old school way, which is to just let the mission timer run out. That way, I get an extra couple missions to do the mission. Also, I don't have to be on the extraction defending it. It does however mean I have to survive with no stratagems and no reinforces. I do feel like it's my best strategy here though, so no backing out now.
Injury? What injury? Not today! Freedom never sleeps!
I should have gone for the console here, after this stun grenade. Played too safe. Needed more guts here. Lesson learned.
Not today! Freedom forever! Have a taste of democracy!
The ICBM has 2 long loads. Since the area was cleared, I decided to trigger the second long load before moving to the Meganest. The second long load is a bit shorter than the first one though. The first one, so this one, takes about 60 seconds. The second one, I believe, is around 45 seconds. So arguably, I should have gone for the Meganest after I triggered the first long load. So again, I played a bit too safe. I figure I was just happy stuff was dead for a bit. Okay, Meganest time. Here we go. Super happy I have 3 reinforces left. That lets me be overly aggressive. I'm basically counting each reinforce as having 4 extra stims each.
Helldivers never die!
Helldiver lost. Sending replacement.
That was rough. Shake it off, Hassel. Nest to clear.
Joining the fray.
Reinforcement budget running low. Request approved. Reinforcements have been launched.
Ready to liberate.
sample?
Arm!
Okay. Grabbing my gear, then launching the ICBM.
1 minute remains. Destroyer departure imminent.
Another step towards galactic liberation. You may extract when ready.
Final tip. Number 16. Use breadcrumbs. I have about 2 minutes and 30 seconds where I just have to survive. So running directly to the extraction is a bad idea, since I'd have to fight with no stratagems or reinforcements. So instead, I decide to run west first, towards the points of interest, then come back east towards extraction, once the Pelican almost lands. Since this is my plan, I drop a supply pack in that trajectory. That way, I get 4 extra supplies for the final stretch of this mission. Added bonus tip: destroy the hell pods that your gear is attached to. That way, your gear appears on the minimap. Would be nice if resupplies worked this way as well, but I'll let that be a hope for the future. Until then, I simply pin where I threw the resupply pod. That works as well.
Orbit. Emergency extraction shuttle deployed. ETA T-minus 1 minute 30 seconds.
Feels good!
I suppose it's time for the outro. And also, this video's last fun fact. Number 5. Learning molds your brain. The things you read, watch, listen to, and feel are not just observations in your life. What you learn to believe off this data will literally shape the brain's gray and white matter, of which your brain is composed. More simply translated, you will slowly become what you believe. Just like a fitness model can grow a six-pack by training it, you can grow a mindset by training it. Not in a floaty, you just gotta believe kind of way. In a, if I MRI scan you, I can prove it kind of way. I set up this YouTube channel in an attempt to get you to be happier, by taking care of you through words, by giving you tips that I believe will make you better in-game, and with a bit of hope and luck, out of game. I'm definitely not gonna pretend to have all the answers. I am simply trying to share the things that have added quality to my life. The hope is that you don't mind me, unexpectedly, giving you non-gaming advice. The luck is that you happen to be in a state of mind where you're willing to accept this information. Just wanted to let you know that I believe you have control of your life, even if you don't. Besides, why would you want me to be wrong here? My name is Faso. Be well, take care.